So, I am here at Houlihan's Inc. in Overland Park with Michael Slavin. He is the VP of Culinary and Menu Innovation.
Yes, that's correct.
I've got that down. So we're in the test kitchen, and he's prepping a dish that they're getting ready to debut at
Bristol Seafood.
Bristol, yeah.
Bristol Seafood, local in town. Devon Seafood, Jay Gilbert's, all our 3 specialty concepts. They have, as soon as a fish comes into season, and we're real excited about it, what we want to do is we want to showcase it and be first to market with it. So what we're doing here is we came up with a dish for a wild striped bass. A wild striped bass is getting caught fairly frequently right now, and it's beautiful, and it's up top of catch. Everybody's been looking forward to it. So we're making a quick stir fry here. Orzo, asparagus, red bell pepper, red onion, ginger, garlic. We're going to deglaze real quick, get a little bit of our Thai glaze.
And so this is your own recipe. You developed this.
Yeah, me and my team, I have a bunch of very talented chefs on my team. So a lot of times we'll use each other, we'll come up with great ideas, and then sometimes great ideas come from other ones and they'll start to morph.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about our preparations too is that this dish and the preparation, when you see it when it's done, it can be substitute. So if you have a beautiful wild striped bass and then you sell that for 3 days and then you're waiting a day for another beautiful fish to come in, it's okay. If you have a really nice piece of black grouper that comes in, you can make the dish with grouper. It's lightly Cajun seasoned. So I'm about to plate this up for you right now.
Okay, very good. It looks amazing.
Now you see the nice sizzle. We got a nice stir fry going. We have kale chips right here. See, they're nice and light and crunchy. You want to taste one?
Sure, yeah.
A little spicy. That's some togarashi. The Japanese 7 spice.
What do we have here?
This right here, this is a lobster crema.
Oh.
So we're just getting that hot, reducing it, and then here's the blackened fish.
So how long have you worked here, Michael?
I've worked here for just over 3 years.
3 years. What did you do before working here?
I was the corporate executive chef for Applebee's for 6 years. Before that, I was with Houston's. I helped start and create BRG, our kitchen and bar.
Oh, wow.
Worked in a lot of hotels in Philadelphia and New York.
Wow, very cool. So
you put this on the bottom, you put the sauce on the bottom.
Okay.
Then what you want to do, you want to put a little bit of your nice stir fry.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Okay. We'll come over here, we'll get our fish. I'm going to offset the fish a little bit like this so you can still get to see all the other nice features.
Oh yeah.
Grab my towel, I just want to give this a wipe. Make sure it looks pretty. And then we're just going to put these nice kale chips. We're going to put a couple on there. This is going to give it texture. It's going to give it a little bit of nice crunch and also a tiny bit of heat from the togarashi. And then we have finished it.
And you're doing this where you're getting ready for a photo shoot to promote these new...
Yeah, so our creative team, sometimes we do photo shoots where we'll bring it in. We'll set up our own little studio out right there in our support center. And then we have a great team that'll put different bases, different props, really trying to romance it, make it look beautiful for our guests. So then we send this out to our preferred guests and our guests that we want to entice to come into our restaurants.
Yeah, that would entice me.
Send it out on email.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Food's ready.
So we're here in the test kitchen. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do in this space? It's a really neat space. We're here on State Line, 87th and State Line, in Overland Park. Yeah, tell us about this kitchen.
So this is my test kitchen. This is my office. This is where I get to work every day, which is great. It never gets dull. I have a team of 2 that works out of here, Mike Castilla and Fernando. So it's great. So we come in here every day, and when everyone else is at their cube, we get to eat, taste different things, create new items. It's just really nice and fun. I have it set up to where I can plug and play, so I pull different pieces of equipment out. I brought a smoker in a few months ago because we needed. I had a big rotisserie here, which we used to do R&D for 6 months. I took it out. This is now a convection oven. But our rotisserie we actually used to start a new concept called Make Room for Truman, which is out right outside of Chicago now.
Okay.
This is a wood-fired grill. We just put this in, so we have wood-fired grill, a new fryer. So anytime we want to play around with new technology or new equipment or new cooking platforms, we go ahead and we're able to bring the equipment in and to be able to work and do ideation on the piece of equipment that we're doing.
Very cool.
That we want to do.
What's the other thing you're making here? You're gonna make something else?
Oh yeah. So this is for Houlihan. So Houlihan's, even though our spring menu is getting ready to launch on April 23rd, our spring summer menu, we have to stay ahead. So in the test kitchen, we're already doing development for fall.
Oh wow.
So I have a big fall food show tomorrow where I'm going to unveil. We start off with a lot of ideas, so anywhere, sometimes 20, 30 ideas.
Oh wow.
Then we cull that down to a more manageable number, which makes more sense for the brand based on what the guests want, based on what the guests are telling us, menu gap opportunities, and then seasonality, of course.
Okay.
From there, we go ahead. We don't try to make more than 8 or 10 items, because any more than that, the folks that have to taste it and want to kind of work through it with us, our concept teams, you get palate fatigue.
Right.
So if you try to eat too much, the stuff in the beginning when you're hungry always tastes better than the stuff at the end when you're already full. Yeah. So the key is nice hot pan. So we're doing fall development already, even though it's still spring, summertime. That's how you do it. So this is a thin pan. This is a French pan, so it gets hot fast. French blue steel. So you want a hot pan when you start off.
Is that butter, I'm guessing?
Yeah. It's a butter, a margarine, and a butter and an olive oil blend.
Okay.
We want to get in there, and it's key. You want the pan hot before you put the fat in or the cooking medium in, and then you also want to let that get hot before you introduce any of the product. That sometimes people make that mistake. I'm going to grab a glove real quick. So anytime you're doing a preparation like this where you're going to handle something too much, you want to wear gloves. So when you're done, you just slip the glove off and your hands back to normal when it's clean. So one way to test it. So what we have here, check this out. We have a pork cutlet, so it's a pork loin pounded out thin, as you can see.
Yeah.
We have seasoned flour, and then this is our franchise egg batter. And it has garlic, black pepper, Parmesan cheese, egg, touch of cream. All right, so my pan's nice and hot over here. What you want to do, just to make sure, you do a little test. See how that's bubbling?
Yep.
That's doing its job. That's what we want. Okay, so nice light flour. That's called a dredge. Okay. Not too much. And then we're going to come over here. It's getting a little hot. You want to dip it a couple times. Let it soak a little bit up, and then also make sure that you get a nice coating. And then you're going to go right in, and it should start puffing up on you. See that? See how that started puffing up?
Yep.
That's how you know that's how you know the temperature is the right temperature.
Okay.
So it browns fast. So you want to make sure. So because it's so thin, so with the see the color on it already?
Yep.
So.
Oh wow.
So that's a cooking, and then after that, we just take a sizzle plate, and we're just going to put it in a nice hot oven, 350 high fan, and then just let it go in there, and it'll finish browning up real nice, and it'll even puff up some more, and then it'll finish cooking the pork. Now the pork, you only really people now. I mean, you can eat pork 135, 140. People can eat it medium. It's fine too. But with this being so thin, I mean, coming right out of that pan here. Sure. It's going to be cooked. But I just put it back in for another 2 minutes because I like it to get really bubbly, and I like it to get nice and puffy so it firms up. So right from here, you can take it out, and if you flip it to the other side, beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we just put it over. And then with the pan, when it's time to come out, I'm not going to be able to show it to you the whole way, but that's when you would make a pan sauce. So the pan sauce for this franchise would be lemon, butter, white wine, capers, parsley. What would be? I mean, what's better like that, right? So we'll put it in the oven.
So there's only one Michael, but you have lots of Houlihan, lots of locations. What do you do to train all the chefs at all the other locations?
we do two things. Either we go out in the field and we work with them and inspire them and their team, and everybody gets to kind of experience it and really hear, right from us, right from the creators, and really understand that this is so important to us, and we obsess on so many details, and we want them to take the same approach, because what we know is if somebody is really bought in and really passionate and understands and gets the enthusiasm, it's going to translate to our guests.
Yeah.
And our guests are going to be really happy, and they're going to see that we have care and pride, and we cook with finesse, and we cook with love. So we go out into the field, and then sometimes we'll bring them in here. So it's different types of learning and development. So when we bring them in here, it's a nice break for them, because they get to get out of their environment, get out of all the hustle and bustle in the restaurant, and they come to see this, and they get to, we call it, they get to play in the kitchen with us, right?
That's cool.
So that's the two different ways where we find very effective training for the field.
Yeah. So you said you bring in test groups, focus groups, and they over here, and is there a way if someone wants to be a part of that, is that something people can get in on, or?
A very select few. No, okay. What we do is we have a support center here, so we have all sort of folks from IT and accounting and legal, and so we'll go around. They're our guests, right? They're regular consumers. Okay. So we'll use them from time to time to come in here and do different focus groups. If we're going to, look at different types of fries, or we want to try a different, burger blend or something like that. In addition to that, a really good market to pull from is we'll go to the restaurants and talk to the staff. So maybe a greeter, some servers from, we have 5 restaurants in town. 5, yeah. So we'll grab those, pull those around. That's just the Houlihans, and then they'll come in here as well. And then, like you were talking about earlier, sometimes we'll even invite guests, our regulars that we really love, and we love to hear their feedback.
Right.
And then probably the most important thing that happens at that table right there is anytime, like I was talking about with food shows, is that we'll make the food, pass it over here, introduce the food, tell it to them, and there'll be a panel of about 6 to 8 people from the concept team, the executive team, and that's how we'll work through and vet all the food and work through, is it right just the way it is? And sometimes you get it right the first time, or let's do this a little bit, let's tweak it. I wish it had this, I wish it had this. Sometimes it takes 5 times to get it right. Sometimes, like our meatloaf, that's why it's called meatloaf number 9. It took 9 iterations to get it perfect, because we wanted to, we really want to make the best representation of what we're trying to do. We want the best version in town of each dish that we're making. So that's why we run through such a stringent panel. Okay.
One more question. I know you need to get back to work. What are your hopes for this job, in this role? I mean, this is a very cool job. What are your hopes?
My hopes are that we keep making guests happy, we bring new guests in, and let them experience our concepts, either if they haven't been to us in a while, or if they've never been to us, and that we end up being their new favorite spot. I want to open a bunch more new restaurants. We have 6 concepts now, like I described earlier, and I have a great team, and I'd love to run some more concepts. So take care of what we have now, make our guests really happy, keep developing and inspiring our teammates, and then maybe take on some new challenges. All right. Well, thanks, Michael. This has been fun. You have a really cool job. Thanks for letting me come in. This has been, I've learned a ton. So thanks for tuning in. I see Chris and Wiki right there, and we will talk to you guys soon.